Now, approximately 30,000 out-of-hospital cardiac arrests happen every year in the UK.
Sadly, less than 1 in 10 people survive, and performing CPR can more than double the chances of survival in some cases. But how do you do it?
Well, on Restart a Heart Day, which is today, St John's Ambulance volunteer Florence Streeter is here to show us how. And I'm going to get up and we're going to do this with you, I think.
Get yourself off that
Absolutely.
stool,
Come
Ellie.
and join me.
OK. Hello. So this is our dummy. Does he have a name?
This is Annie. They're
Oh, it's
all
Annie's.
called Annie.
Hi, Annie.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is one of the training dummies that we use in all of our courses across the country. As it's Restart Our Heart Day, there are events all across the country where we'll be teaching local communities. And right now, I'll teach you. It's a little bit harder on the table, but we're going to make it work.
OK.
So you're going to place your arms out straight in front of you.
Yeah.
And you're going to keep your arms straight, so you're going to lock them.
Yeah.
Right or left-handed?
Right.
OK, so you're going to put this one out front and this one on top.
Yeah.
And lock your fingers like this.
OK.
And then we're going to place them straight in the middle of the chest, in line with the armpits, OK?
OK.
And then you're going to press hard and fast in the middle of the chest, about a third of the depth of this Annie. OK? Do you want me to show you
OK,
first?
yeah, you demonstrate first.
So we're going to press really, really hard. And
really?
you're going to do it really, really fast as well. We're going to do it to a beat of 120 a minute. So it can be a little bit helpful if we have a little song in our head. So if you know the words...
Staying Alive.
Yeah, that classic advert.
Yeah.
Or Nelly the Elephant, that works too.
OK.
Yeah,
OK.
absolutely.
Go on then, Ellie.
Right, here we go. So right hand out, left on top.
Yeah.
And you just kind of push... Oh, goodness,
Yeah.
that's really hard.
Keep your arms
It's
straight.
work out.
It's a lot harder when it's on a table in
I'm on
front
my
of you.
tippy toes, yeah.
So usually you'd have it on the floor in front of you and you'd be on your knees. So you can really put your weight into it. Because you've got to press very, very
And would
hard.
it be this heavy, like on a real person? This is a bit of a workout.
Well, I mean, 'cause
It is
I-
definitely a workout.
I don't think I'd be very good.
It is hard. I mean, one of the things which I think is scary to a lot of people is you can crack the ribs and things doing this, can't you?
You absolutely can, yeah. However, know that you're not doing something wrong by doing that. Some people, especially if they're a little bit older, that's more likely. However, you're applying the correct force. You're not doing anything wrong by doing that. And they're not going to feel the pain of that. They're going to be very grateful that you're doing it.
How do you distinguish between when you should be doing the heart and when you need to be putting air into the lungs?
So at the moment, the advice is to just continuously do compressions.
Right.
You'll have called an ambulance and they'll be on their way to you, so they'll be able to provide oxygen when they get there, but you should just completely continue with doing...
And how long do you do this for? Just like...
I'm getting
there's
tired.
2
reasons that you would stop. Either they've suddenly started talking to you again and they no longer need CPR. However, that's very unlikely. But if you're too tired and you physically can't do it anymore, then you could stop. But likely someone will take over from you. So whilst we're waiting for the ambulance, you guys could swap places or the ambulance service will take over from you when they arrive.
I see. And is this a good pace? So just as quick as you...
A little bit quicker.
Oh, really? Oh, dear. Stephen, I'd be very bad. If you were on the floor, I'd be very bad.
You would be very bad. I mean, it's worth pointing out, because I was in St John's Ambulance back in the day.
Were
And we had an Annie and all the rest of it. You should never practice this on someone whose heart is beating properly, should you?
Absolutely. You would do a lot of damage if it's an alive person, and it would be very, very painful. However, these are the perfect tool to practice on.
It's funny because it's one of these things, we see it all the time on movies, don't we? And I wonder if that's helpful or not, because of course when you see them on the movies, they're sort of doing what Ellie's doing, and obviously their arms are bending and they're not properly compressing because they can't do it. But does that give us the wrong impression of what we should actually do under the circumstances?
Perhaps, yeah. The best thing for you would be to watch an instructional video of someone doing it online, or pop along to one of the events today that teach you how to do it and really have a go yourself.
So what's the reason that you don't, or you're not advised to do mouth to mouth?
So we stopped doing it during COVID, but also it can be quite scary for some people. If this was someone that you saw collapse in the street, not everyone's really comfortable doing it on someone they don't know. And actually, it's the compressions that give the biggest chance of survival. We naturally have a lot of leftover oxygen in our lungs. And so as long as we're keeping that flowing around the body, which is what CPR is doing, then we can really improve the chances of someone.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because, I mean, you hope to goodness that you never have to do this on people. But when you look at the figures of people who are having cardiac arrest, I mean, it's scary how common it is.
It is, yeah, absolutely. A quarter of deaths in the UK are caused by cardiac heart-related illnesses. But luckily, it's one that you can actually do quite a lot about. So many people are scared of performing CPR, and actually just having a go is just the most important thing. Like you said, you'd probably be a little bit scared to do it, but actually you're not going to do it wrong, and doing something is a lot better than doing nothing.
That's a relief. So it's actually quite difficult to get it wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what would you say to people that are watching perhaps at home and haven't been able to try this? Where can they come and do this? Where can they get themselves familiar?
So if you have a look, if you're free today, then you can go along to one of the events. If you just Google Restart a Heart or have a look on the St John Ambulance website, there's loads of events happening all across the country in universities, community halls and things like that. But if you can't do that, you can book onto a first aid course, or you can just watch a video online. As much as it's amazing to practice in person, if you're not able to, just having an awareness of how to do it is the most important thing.
How do we distinguish whether someone's having a cardiac arrest or a heart attack?
So with a heart attack, that is a blockage in one of the arteries. But the most important thing is that person's going to be alert. They're going to be conscious the whole time, just in a lot of pain, but they'll still be talking to you. However, with a cardiac arrest, they're going to be completely unresponsive the whole time. They can't talk to you, and they won't be breathing. So you'll know the difference for sure.
Right.
And it's in a cardiac arrest, like Annie.
Yes.
When we would
exactly
do this, right?
Yeah.
And what about, because it's interesting doing that, if you had a choice between this or the, what do you call them, the electric paddle. Oh, you've got one there.
Yeah.
I mean, now they're springing up in a lot of places now, and they're very good because they tell you themselves what to do, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Which is better?
So you kind of want a combination of both. You're going to start CPR straight away because most people don't happen to have a defibrillator in their homes. And the ambulance service that you'll have called will try and arrange for one to be delivered to you, or they'll tell you, if there's two of you there, to go and collect the nearest one. There's something called the circuit, which lists all of the ones all across the UK, and that will tell you where the nearest one is. So someone will start CPR, and in the meantime, someone will go and get the defibrillator. So CPR prolongs life, but the defibrillator can restart it.
Right. And of course, I mean, the advantage with the defibrillators now is you open the box, you put it, and they literally tell you what to do step by step.
They absolutely do, yes. So you can't get it wrong. There's pictures on it, and it shows you exactly where to pop the pads, and it guides you through the process. So you're not going to accidentally shock someone that doesn't need it or anything like that.
Yeah.
So people shouldn't be afraid of CPR or using these.
Absolutely, that's the key message.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing. Actually, it's
Really
amazing
is.
to see this in action. It's really good.
I'm really glad I've learnt this. Yeah.
You have. I don't know if I'd trust you quite
No, I
yet.
don't.
More practice,
If I put my elbows into it,
it is a lot easier when it's on the floor. Yeah. You've got to keep your arms stretched like that, and it's
What
more
do you
of a
think of
rocking
my
motion.
technique?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I wasn't doing rocking.
No.
Yeah, that's for sure.
We'll get you.
We'll get there, won't we?
Yeah.
Laura, thank you very much indeed. And any of you who are in St John's Ambulance, you all do a sterling
Yes, you
job.
do.
It's incredible.
Florence,
Thank you
so
very
much.
much indeed.
Thanks.